Hello, my name is Ellen Samuels, and I'm going to read some poems today. I'm a white Jewish femme woman in my 40s wearing a red dress and red lipstick. I'm sitting outside in my backyard with a background of trees. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers. I'm coming to you today from stolen Ho-Chunk land, also known as Madison, Wisconsin. I'd like to thank the Ford Foundation and especially Anne Fox and Jessica Cooley for including me in the Indisposable exhibit. The first poem I'm going to read doesn't need much introduction. It is riffing on a very common conversation that people with disabilities and chronic illnesses have. And it's called In Answer to Your Question. In answer to your question, yes, I have tried yoga. I have tried going gluten-free. I have exercised every day until my abs rippled like an armadillo's shell. And still, my friends call me up to say that Pilates makes them feel 10 years younger. Yes, I have tried not eating sugar. I read labels like poetry, ruling out fructose, crystals, nectars, that confectionery of risk. I turned away each forbidden fruit, crunched through bowls of cabbage for breakfast, until even a raw banana slice lay a faint music on my tongue. And still my coworker stops me in the hallway to tell me that sex has cured her migraines. Yes, I have tried yoga, have pretzeled my legs into shapes they already knew, balanced, breathed, lain down and shuddered my way back up. I have stood a crane reaching to the sky in Tai Chi class. I have gone back to ward off monkeys. I have held the ball of my own faltering, hand-heavy persistence. And still, my family sends me articles about the power of positive thinking. Do you really want me to answer your question? Are you ready to try my bodily practice? Not trying to be crane, not pretending to be winged, just making my way down the long hallways of my body's house, holding on if I need to, stretching my hands into tigers' mouths, rounding my arms to hold the pain that never goes away, that is the only true answer I can give you. This next poem, I think, is very relevant today during the COVID-19 pandemic, as so many of us feel all the time now we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough for our jobs. We're not doing enough for our families. We're not doing enough to fight in all the struggles that are so important right now. We're not taking good enough care of the people around us. We're not taking good enough care of ourselves. That feeling of failure, of always having to apologize for what you can't do, is so central to the experience of chronic illness. And I wrote this poem out of that experience, and it's called Yesterday, I Apologized. Yesterday, I apologized to the dog for not being able to walk her anymore, to the moss-green lake in the dappled light, her nose tender against my palm, sampling fish reek and the wind's news. Yesterday, I apologized to the middle of my middle finger, the years-old pebble under skin, bone knot bunched in memory's string. I said, I'm sorry to the skin's warp and weft, to the nerve strung tight on the knuckles' fret. I said, I'm sorry to the skin itself, curtain roughly drawn across the body's pink. I apologized to sacrum and thigh bone, to the hinge unhinging where it used to swing, striding next to the dog on our afternoon walks. Yesterday, I apologized to the nightstand where bottles jostle and crowd with last year's books. I sent my regrets to the rutted bed where I knelt each summer, pulling sorrel and dandelion, snow on the mountain, and creeping Charlie in the ripe dirt swell and welter of heat. Last night, when I lay down on the smooth relief of pillow and sheet, I closed my eyes and apologized to the insides of my eyelids, as if two moths, having settled there, needed to know what would happen next. Close your wings, I said. Stay with me in the moon-wet night. We have done all we can. These last poems I'm going to read are all taken from my forthcoming book, Hypermobilities, which will be published in 2021 by the Operating System Press. Hypermobilities is a memoir in verse, and the poems in it are all haiku. They're all about the symptoms and experiences of my disability, which is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which causes joint hypermobility, and also the medical system in which I have been deeply embedded in the last few years. I wrote these poems, most of them in my head, while going through medical treatments and procedures, and that's how they ended up as haiku, so they were short enough that I could write them in my head without having access to any kind of computer or pencil or paper. So I'm going to read about 7 of those. Hypermobility. No one is supposed to bend that far. No one knows why you don't just break. Shoulder subluxation. The smallest pop, unstopped, what you knew and forgot in this knife joint caught. The difference between joint subluxation and dislocation. Door unlatched in the body house, shudder to slow kiss the jam or slam. Ankle sprain while sleeping. Warm swell of pain, foot knuckle bruising. What dance did you dream and forget? Infusion on Danzatron 5 milligrams. Quick dip of needle, blood taste before grace. Slow push to hold you for days. Infusion, normal saline, 500 milliliters. Ocean, seagrass, spill of sand into tourniquet, needle, mermaid hand. Superficial phlebitis. Needle mouth, vein road, the price that was paid. What healed hurt. What hurt is what stayed. Thank you.